Join me today for an adventure at Mushroom Mike LLC. And don't scold me for wearing a mask. I was about to have my eye surgery and I didn't want to get sick. They were hacking like crazy on the bus. Mike is a mushroom grower, farmer, and importer in Wisconsin. Today, Mike is going to show us his grow rooms, how he plans to fruit morel mushrooms in mass, and also his Huitlacoche fields. He is one of the U.S. largest producers of the corn smut fungus, and it is delicious, also known as Mexican corn truffle.
You make an inoculated bag. Do I even have a fancy? There we go. You make an inoculated bag. This one's obviously uninoculated bag of mushroom cultures. You put these, we're going to go through the whole process, don't worry, we're coming back to this. You basically fill up an entire greenhouse with these inoculated, and then in spring, you put empty ones, not inoculated, on top of the soil. And then you flood it, and you get mushroom mycelium, comes up into the bag. Think of There Will Be Blood. It takes its milkshake out of the bag, sucks it out of the bag, and it then provides the nutrition to create these massive carpet fruitings. So what we did is went to the source. Why hasn't this been working? That's my money. Like, why isn't everyone growing morels? Obviously, there's some sort of stopgap that's preventing people from growing morels successfully. So what we did, hands down, went right to the source. Contacted my contacts in China, and we got 3 of the top Morel subvariants, 102, G8, 905. They got catalogs, just like a Toys R Us catalog for Morel cultivation in China. Mind-blowing. Air Morel grow bag, and eventually make it look just like this. And then we will do big bags, the actual dirt in the ground in fall, let it overwinter to create a mat of mycelium inside of the greenhouses, and then in spring you flood that. I want to see how quickly we can achieve that and try to reduce that to months instead of quarters of months. So if we can create that exact same process using, I don't care if it's 10 times the amount of mushroom extract, but if we could limit that down to a 1-month turnaround time from when we put infected bags in the ground to when we can fruit them, that'll increase our growing capacity exponentially for morels in Wisconsin. So that's one of the other little tweaks that we're starting to work on right now as well. So,
started out, I'll do the whole history real quick first, and then we'll start doing the walkthrough of exactly what we do here as well. We started out illegally selling morel mushrooms outside the Dane County Farmers Market when I was in college. Got busted so many times that they were like, just buy the permit at $75. Anyone else have any questions? We had a question about gluten, and she wanted to know, since we use a lot of ghee, make all of our mushroom food, which is basically what's inside of this little bag here. We take a raw wood product, wood fuel pellets, hardwood fuel pellets, mix it with a nitrogen byproduct. Luckily, we're in the best possible place to find all this stuff. The wood comes directly from up in Marshfield. All of the grains come just a little bit south in Illinois. And then we also use wheat bran as another agricultural byproduct. All very, very cost effective just because of how close it is. We bring in semi-loads of both of these and then stock up on everything at great prices here. So we take everything and we throw it into this giant mixer. Our philosophy when we built it was that you cannot make mushrooms profitable unless you're doing other things with mushrooms as well. So we grow mushrooms, we buy mushrooms, we import mushrooms, and we distribute mushrooms. So we're a full kind of operation in which we don't just earmark ourselves and benchmark ourselves just on what we grow ourselves as well. So we work with other local foragers, we bring in truffles and product from Europe, and then we also bring stuff from all across the United States. Most predominantly the Pacific Northwest is where we bring a lot of our bulk mushrooms in. If anyone's been to our morel dinners, I'd probably say roughly 90% of the morels that you eat on menus across the United States come from the Pacific Northwest.
what's known as processing grade. So basically anyone that wants to make a sauce out of this, very popular with Mexican cuisine. Rick Bayless gave us about $36,000 to form the business as well as create this product that he exclusively uses down in Chicago now. But now a number of other extremely interesting heirloom varieties of corn because chefs like pretty colors, and we're going to try to grow Huitlacoche that is a rainbow color this year. Said we were not building this place unless I had exact environmental controls. I was not going back. This is the entire geothermal system. If you look outside by the greenhouses, our tubes go all the way right to Road X right there. Those lines go all the way underground and then get pulled up directly into here. This is our misting system. Basically, the hardest thing about creating the water situation for how to keep humidity in those grow rooms is creating a misting system that does not get contaminated. So we have the iron curtain filter, a softener, as well as other filters in line. Normal of the time, many mushroom growers use foggers inside of those grow rooms.
I almost got my volunteer hours in. Ask the naturalists.
For our neighbors, but the amount of cursing that has occurred out here building these damn greenhouses has been, it's probably the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And we were quoted originally $40,000 with Morels. Inside, if anyone has done and seen the Morel talks that we did with Wisconsin Mycological Society, this is where all that magic's going to happen. So in Greenhouse 2 and Greenhouse 3 right now, we have different types of experiments on the ground mimicking exactly what they do in China to infect the soil. So all the soil inside of the greenhouses was rotor-tillered up. The Morel bags that we had grown inside, laid out. Some of them we mixed in that Morel substrate, and then some of them we just left the bags directly on top but unbagged. We're going to try about 4 different techniques inside of these greenhouses, and all of those ones in 2 and 3 were liquid culture. Inside of greenhouse 1 is going to be that short window but increased infection rate using the grain spawn that you saw that we just were starting in here. So we're going to be doing a lot of big bags, and we're going to dump about 1,000 bags of Morel infected substrate into there and see how quick we can get that Morel mycelial mat to form in the spring to see if we can reduce that window then for infection. Everything you see behind you here is our wonderful Huitlacoche field. So that extends over to the west. Every single thing that you see that's white right now is covered in Huitlacoche come the end of May. We start growing that corn usually right around April, and we go all the way picking that corn then until October.
A link to the Mushroom Mike LLC website is in the description box. He also sells at the farmers market in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin each summer. Be sure to stop by if you want to get the best in mushrooms and other wild produce.